The jungle was heavy with silence. Not the silence of peace, but the silence that came when everything alive was holding its breath. Jack pushed away the thick leaves with his machete and looked at the strange stone tower rising from the ground. The structure was old, older than anything he had ever seen. Moss crawled across its walls, roots split the cracked stones, and strange glowing lines ran like veins across the surface. He had been searching for this place for weeks. The locals warned him never to enter the forbidden ruin, but Jack was stubborn. He wanted to prove that humans could uncover what alien races had left behind. And now, standing at the broken steps, he felt the weight of his own heartbeat. Inside the temple, the air was cold. His flashlight beam cut through the dust, showing carvings of tall figures in armor. They looked almost human, but their eyes were sharp and glowing even in stone. Jack's boots echoed as he stepped deeper. Every sound seemed too loud. The drop of water, the crunch of pebbles, his own breath. He followed a long hallway until he reached a round chamber. The ceiling was high, shaped like a dome, and covered with alien runes that pulsed with faint blue light. At the center stood a stone platform. On it rested a strange black orb, smooth like glass but carved with symbols. Jack swallowed hard. This must be it, he whispered to himself. He stepped closer. The orb seemed to hum, as if it was alive. His hand moved before his mind could stop it. Fingers brushed against the cold surface that the temple trembled. Dust rained from the ceiling. The blue runes burst alive, glowing brighter than fire. Jack fell back, heart racing. A hiss echoed from the far side of the chamber. He turned his flashlight toward it and froze. A massive sarcophagus was standing against the wall, sealed shut with chains of stone. The chains cracked and snapped one by one, as if some force inside was breaking free. No, Jack muttered, stumbling to his feet. The sarcophagus door slammed open. Out stepped a woman. She was tall, her armor shining like it had been forged yesterday, though she had been locked away for thousands of years. Her skin glowed faintly under the alien light, her eyes burning gold. Long silver hair flowed down her back like a river of light. She was beautiful, but terrifying. Her gaze snapped to Jack. Her voice was deep and commanding, echoing in the chamber. "Who dares disturb my eternal rest?" Jack froze, throat dry. He raised his hands slowly. I didn't mean to, I swear." The woman stepped forward. The ground seemed to shake under her boots. She tilted her head, scanning him as if weighing his soul. "You are no warrior of my people," she said. "Your scent, your blood. You are human." Jack's pulse hammered in his ears. "Yes, human. Just exploring, that's all." "I didn't know." The woman's golden eyes narrowed. "Lies. Only the destined one could break my seal. And now you have awakened me." She raised her hand. Energy sparked in her palm, forming into a blade of light. Jack stumbled back, nearly tripping over the stone platform. "Wait! Please, I don't even know who you are," he shouted. The blade hummed inches from his chest. The woman's voice lowered, almost like a growl. "I am Serenia, eternal guardian of the fallen empire." Her breath was steady, but her eyes burned with something old: rage, sorrow, hunger for vengeance. Jack felt his whole body shiver. He tried to force a laugh, but it broke halfway. "Right, Serenia. Listen, I didn't mean to wake you. I'll just go, all right? You can go back to sleep." Her blade inched closer. "It does not work that way, human. You have touched the relic. You have called me back to this world. Now, my fate is bound to yours." The walls shook again, louder this time. Stones cracked, dust filled the air. Serenia looked up at the runes glowing on the ceiling. For the first time, her expression changed. Worry flashed in her golden eyes. "They will come," she whispered. "Who will come?" Jack asked, coughing on the dust. She turned to him sharply. "The hunters." "The descendants of those who betrayed me. They will sense that I live again, and they will not stop until we are both ashes. Jack felt his chest tighten. We? Why me? I didn't ask for this. Serenia stepped closer, her face inches from his. For the first time, her voice softened. Because you woke me, and because the prophecy said a human would. Her blade vanished in a flash of light. She grabbed Jack's wrist, her grip like iron. You belong to this now, she said. Run if you want. But the galaxy will still hunt you, with me or without me. Jack stared into her glowing eyes, feeling both fear and something else, something he couldn't name. And then, a deep rumble shook the temple. From outside, strange screeches rose in the jungle night. Serenia's head snapped toward the entrance. Her golden eyes hardened. They are already here. Jack's stomach dropped. He looked toward the dark hallway, then back at the Immortal. Warrior woman holding his wrist. He realized his life would never be the same again. Asterisk. The jungle outside was no longer quiet. Screeches and metallic roars echoed through the night as shadows moved among the trees. Jack's chest tightened. He had no idea what was coming, but the look on Serenia's face told him it was nothing good. She pulled him sharply toward the cracked hallway. Move, human, she ordered. Her voice had the weight of command, the kind of tone that didn't allow argument. Jack stumbled after her. Wait, what's happening? Who are those things? They are hunters, Serenia answered, her steps fast and silent. The spawn of my enemies. They will smell my return. They will not let us leave this temple alive. Before Jack could speak again, a deafening crash shook the ruins. The entrance collapsed in sparks of light. Out of the dust stepped tall creatures, clad in black armor. Their faces were hidden behind insect-like masks, glowing red eyes cutting through the darkness. Jack froze. His mouth went dry. What the hell are those? Serenia's golden eyes burned. The children of cowards. One of the hunters raised a weapon that hummed with plasma. He barked something in an alien tongue and aimed straight at Serenia, but she was faster. Her hand flared with energy, forming a blade of light once more. In a single step, she was on the creature, slicing through his weapon and chest as if both were paper. Sparks burst in the air. The hunter fell, body smoking. Jack's jaw dropped. Holy, another hunter fired, beams of red slicing through the chamber. Jack dived behind a stone pillar, his heart pounding like a drum. Serenia moved like water, dodging blasts and cutting down her enemies with speed too fast for human eyes. Her hair flashed silver every time she struck. She was beautiful. She was terrifying. And she was unstoppable. Jack tried to steady his breath. He had no weapon, nothing but a small knife. His instincts screamed at him to run, but the temple was sealed. Hunters pouring in like shadows. One of them spotted him hiding and aimed. Jack's stomach twisted. He grabbed the first thing near him, a broken rock. With no time to think, he threw it with all his strength. The stone slammed into the hunter's mask. The alien staggered back, giving Serenia the opening to slice him down. She glanced at Jack, her eyes narrowing. Perhaps you are not as weak as you look. Jack blinked. That was just a rock. Then use more rocks, she snapped, spinning and cutting another hunter's head clean off. The fight was brutal. The air smelled of burning metal and blood. Jack's hands shook, but adrenaline pushed him. He smashed another rock into a hunter's chest, distracting it long enough for Serenia to finish it. Soon the chamber floor was littered with bodies. The hunters retreated into the jungle, their screeches fading into the night. Serenia lowered her blade. It dissolved into light, leaving her standing tall, her chest rising and falling slowly. She looked almost calm, though her eyes still burned with fire. Jack crawled out from behind the pillar, sweat dripping down his face. His clothes were torn, hands bloody from the rocks he had thrown. You killed them all. Serenia turned To him, expression unreadable. No, they will return, in greater numbers. This was only the first wave. Jack felt his knees weaken. First wave? You've got to be kidding me. Serenia stepped closer, her armor gleaming in the moonlight, breaking through the cracked ceiling. She studied him carefully. You fought. Beside me, she said quietly. You are no warrior, but you did not run. That makes you different. Jack laughed nervously. Different? I was just trying not to die. Serenia's lips curved slightly, the ghost of a smile, or maybe a test. Survival is the first step of war. Her hand touched the stone wall, tracing one of the glowing runes. The light pulsed stronger, as if reacting to her. She frowned. The prophecy has begun. My awakening will not stop until the galaxy itself shifts. Jack shook his head. Prophecy? Hunters? I don't want to be part of this. I just wanted to explore. Serenia turned, her golden eyes locking onto his. They glowed brighter than ever, pulling him into their depth. You woke me, she said firmly. Now you are bound to me. And soon, human, you will see why. The chamber rumbled again. Outside, more red lights appeared between the trees, hundreds this time. Jack's blood ran cold. Oh no, not again. Serenia lifted her blade of light once more, standing tall. Like a goddess of war. Yes, human. Again, until the stars burn out. Jack swallowed hard, realizing this nightmare was only beginning. The night after the battle was heavy with silence. The ruins still smoked from plasma fire, broken bodies of hunters scattered across the temple floor. Jack sat with his back against a cracked pillar, his chest heaving, every muscle trembling. He had never been this close to death before. Serenia stood in the center of the chamber, her armor glowing faintly in the moonlight. She had not moved for hours. Her eyes were shut, her hands resting on the stone platform where the black orb had once been. She looked like a statue carved from fire and steel. Finally, Jack found his voice. You're not human, are you? Her golden eyes opened slowly. No. Jack tried to laugh, but it came out broken. Figures. Serenia studied him. You do not understand what you have done, human. You have awakened me. That is not a small thing. Jack rubbed his face. I didn't know. I just touched a stupid rock. I didn't mean to start whatever this is. Serenia's gaze hardened. It was not chance. The relic only answers to the one named in prophecy, and it chose you. Jack blinked. Prophecy? Wait. Are you telling me all of this was planned? Serenia stepped closer, her voice low and heavy. Long before your world rose from the oceans, my people wrote of a human. A man who would wake me when the stars were in danger again. His blood would call to mine, and together we would bring war to the traitors who destroyed my empire. Jack's mouth went dry. That's insane. I'm just an explorer. I came here for history, not destiny. She leaned down, her golden eyes burning into his. History and destiny are the same, human. You cannot run from what has already been written. Jack swallowed hard. He wanted to argue, to tell her she was wrong, but deep inside, a shiver crawled down his spine. The way the relic had hummed in his hand. The way the temple had opened only for him. The way she looked at him like she had known him forever. It didn't feel like coincidence. Before he could speak, a sound echoed through the temple, metallic wings beating against the night sky. Serenia stiffened instantly. They come again, she whispered. Jack groaned. You've got to be kidding me already. Serenia turned toward him sharply. Do you want to live? Yes, then follow me. She grabbed his wrist, pulling him toward a hidden passage behind the altar. The tunnel was narrow and dark, the walls pulsing with faint blue runes. Jack stumbled after her, his flashlight swinging wildly. As they moved, Serenia spoke again, her voice echoing softly in the stone. My people betrayed me. They feared my strength, so they sealed me away. But before they did, I swore vengeance. The prophecy was my last gift. One day, I would rise again. And a human would stand at my side. Jack shook his head. But why a human? Why not one of your own? Serenya's voice lowered. Because humans were the only race my enemies feared. Not for power, not for weapons, but for your spirit. They said humans could never be broken. They said humans would fight even when the stars burned away. Jack felt his chest tighten. No one had ever said something like that to him before. He was just a man, no powers, no army, no destiny. But hearing it from her made his blood stir. They reached the end of the tunnel, a hidden opening leading out into the jungle. The night was alive with alien cries. Red lights moved through the trees. Serenia placed a hand on his shoulder, her grip firm. You are the one, Jack. You may deny it, you may fear it, but you cannot escape it. The blood in your veins has already chosen. Jack looked into her glowing eyes. For the first time, he saw not only fire, but pain. She was ancient, powerful, terrifying, yet behind all of that, she looked like someone who had been waiting alone for too long. Jack's lips trembled as he spoke. If what you're saying is true, then we're both in deep trouble. Serenya's lips curved in a faint, dangerous smile. No, human. Not trouble, war. A distant roar shook the jungle. The hunters had found their trail. Serenia raised her blade of light, golden fire crackling along its edge. She glanced back at Jack. The prophecy of blood begins tonight. Stand or fall, you decide. Jack clenched his fists, heart hammering. He knew he had no real choice, because the war had already found him. Asterisk, the ruins did not sleep that night. The jungle trembled with the hunters' roars, their red lights flashing between the broken trees. Jack and Serenia crouched behind a wall of shattered stone, the air heavy with the smell of burned metal and blood from the last fight. Jack's hands shook around a broken piece of stone he had picked up. His mind screamed at him to run, but his legs wouldn't move. The sound of the hunters grew closer, heavy boots crunching on roots, weapons humming with deadly power. Serenia's golden eyes glowed in the darkness. She stood tall, her blade of light forming once again in her hand. Her voice was calm, steady, but sharp like steel. They are many, she said, but fear makes them weak. Jack whispered back, his voice cracking. Fear makes me want to hide. Serenia turned her head toward him, eyes narrowing. Yet you are still here. Before Jack could reply, the hunters burst into the ruins. They came in waves, armored bodies shining under the moonlight, red eyes blazing. Plasma fire lit the night as they opened fire. Serenia moved first. She leapt into the air, her blade slicing through the darkness like a streak of fire. One hunter fell, then another, her strikes clean and merciless. She spun, parried beams with her glowing weapon, and cut through metal like paper. Jack ducked as a blast exploded against the wall near him. His ears rang, dust filling his mouth. He crawled to the side, grabbing another stone, his only weapon. A hunter closed in on him, claws raised. Jack's body acted before his brain. He smashed the rock into the hunter's arm, just enough to throw its aim wide. The alien stumbled, and Serenia's blade pierced its chest in a flash of golden light. Her voice rang over the chaos. Good, you think like a survivor. Jack panted, coughing. That's not thinking, that's panicking. But she had already turned away, her focus on the next wave. The ruins shook as one of the hunters fired a massive blast at the stone ceiling. The roof cracked, rubble raining down. Jack covered his head as chunks of stone slammed around him. Serenia dashed forward, tackling him to the ground just as a boulder smashed where he'd been standing. Her armor pressed against him, warm despite the cold metal. For a second, their faces were only inches apart. Her golden eyes burned into his, her breath steady even in the chaos. You must move with me. she said softly, almost like a command meant only for him. Jack's throat tightened. I'll try. She pulled him to his feet and pushed him behind her. Hunters swarmed from every side, but Serenia fought like a storm. Her blade flashed, her hair whipped through the air, and her voice roared in an alien battle cry that made the ruins shake. Jack noticed something. The hunters feared her. Even with their numbers, they hesitated when she charged. That gave him an idea. He picked up a broken spear from the ground. His hands trembled, but he forced himself forward. As one hunter turned its gun toward Serenia, Jack drove the spear into its back. It screeched, stumbling forward, giving Serenia the perfect chance to cut it down. She glanced at him, surprised, then nodded once. Yes, that is how humans fight. Clever, unexpected. Jack let out a shaky laugh, more like desperate. Still, something inside him stirred. For the first time, he wasn't just surviving, he was helping. The battle raged until the last hunter fell, its body smoking on the ground. The ruins were silent again, except for Jack's heavy breathing. His arms ached, his legs felt like stone, but he was alive. Serenia lowered her blade, the golden light vanishing. She walked to Jack, her armor scratched but her body untouched. She studied him for a long moment. "You are weaker than them," she said, nodding at the bodies. "Slower, fragile, yet you still stood beside me. That makes you stronger than all of them." Jack blinked at her words, unsure how to respond. His chest burned with exhaustion, but also with something else, pride. Before he could speak, Serenia's head snapped toward the jungle. Her face hardened. "They will not stop. This place is already marked with blood. More will come. You're saying." This was just round 2. Serenia stepped closer, her golden eyes glowing brighter. "This is only the beginning. Human, you carry the mark of prophecy now. Wherever you go, the war will follow." She leaned in, her voice lowering. "Run if you wish, but if you run, you will die." Jack's stomach twisted. He looked at her, at the glowing warrior who had just saved him again, and realized he was trapped in something far bigger than himself. And in the distance, the jungle answered with another chorus of alien roars. The war was far from over. The jungle was quiet again, but not peaceful. Smoke rose from the ruins, and the cries of distant hunters echoed like warnings through the night. Jack and Serenia had escaped into the trees, moving until their legs burned. Finally, they found a clearing near a stream, hidden by thick vines. Jack dropped to the ground, panting. His hands were torn and bleeding, his shirt ripped from crawling through stone and fire. "I can't run anymore," he gasped. Serenia stood above him, her golden eyes scanning the dark forest. Her armor still glowed faintly, but her shoulders seemed heavier now. She was silent for a long time before kneeling beside him. "You fought," she said simply. "You bled. That means you belong in this war." Jack laughed bitterly, pressing his hand against a cut on his arm. "I don't belong anywhere near this. I'm not a soldier. I'm just me." Serenia tilted her head, watching him. Slowly, she reached for his arm. Her fingers were strong, yet surprisingly gentle as she pulled his hand away and examined the wound. Jack hissed as her touch brushed the cut. "You will not survive long if you fall apart over small wounds," she said. Jack smirked weakly. "Small wounds feels like my arm's been torn off." Serenia's lips curved faintly, almost like the ghost of a smile. She touched the glowing lines on her armor, and a soft golden light spread across her palm. She pressed it lightly against his wound. The pain faded, replaced by warmth. Jack blinked in shock. What is that?" "My blood carries energy older than your stars," she said softly. "It heals, but only if I give it freely." Jack stared at her, at the way her eyes glowed in the dim light, the way her hand lingered longer than necessary on his arm. "Why?" "Give it to me," he asked quietly. Serenia's gaze met his. For the first time, there was no fire in her eyes, only something gentler, something almost human. Because you stayed. When you could have run, you stayed. Jack's chest tightened. He didn't know what to say. He only nodded, his throat too dry to speak. They sat in silence for a while, the sound of the stream filling the night. Jack leaned back against a tree, exhaustion pulling at his eyelids. Serenia sat across from him, her armor glowing faintly like a second moon. After a long time, Jack broke the silence. You said the prophecy bound us together. Does that mean I can't get rid of you? Serenia's lips curved again, sharper this time. Do you want to get rid of me? Jack swallowed. The way she asked the question made his heart race. I didn't say that. She leaned forward slightly, her golden eyes catching his in the dim light. Good, because whether you want it or not, human, you are mine now. Jack shifted. Uncomfortably, heat rising to his face. You know, when you say it like that, it sounds different. Serenia tilted her head, her expression unreadable. Different how? Jack coughed, looking away. Forget it. For a moment, silence returned. But this time it was heavy with something unspoken, something hanging between them. Then, suddenly, the forest shook with a metallic screech. Both of them turned their heads sharply. Red lights glimmered in the distance, moving closer. Serenia rose to her feet, blade of light forming once more in her hand. Her voice dropped low, steady as ever. They have found us again, Jack groaned, forcing himself up despite the exhaustion. Don't these things ever sleep? Serenia's golden eyes narrowed. Neither do we. Not until the war is done. She glanced back at him, her face calm but her voice edged with something deeper. Stay close to me, human. Your life is mine to protect now. Jack tightened his fists, his heart pounding. He didn't know if he could survive another fight. But he knew one thing, he wasn't leaving her side. The jungle lit up again with red light. The hunters were coming, and the bond between a human and an immortal warrior was only growing stronger. The night dragged into morning. The jungle mist curled around broken roots and fallen stones. Jack and Serenia had finally reached the edge of a canyon where an abandoned alien outpost stood. Rusted towers leaned against the fog, and the walls hummed faintly with half-dead energy. Jack stared at it, breathing hard. This place doesn't look safe. Serenia's golden eyes narrowed. No place is safe, but answers hide here. They entered through a broken gate. The outpost smelled of dust and burned wires. Screens flickered faintly, some still alive after centuries. Serenia moved with caution, her blade glowing faintly at her side. Jack followed, every step echoing. Inside the control room, Serenia pressed her palm against a cracked console. The machine whirred and came to life, throwing blue light across the chamber. Strange alien script scrolled across the screen. Jack squinted. Can you read it? Her jaw tightened. Yes. She read silently for a long time. Her face, usually hard and unreadable, slowly darkened. When she finally spoke, her voice was like iron breaking. The Empire still lives, she whispered. Jack frowned. What do you mean? I thought your people betrayed you. Her eyes burned brighter. They did. But they did not die. They became rulers and humans. She turned to him sharply, her voice sharp enough to cut. Your kind bent the knee to them. Jack froze. What? That's not possible. She slammed her fist against the console. Sparks flew. It is written here. The humans of your world were taken into the Empire's chains. They became soldiers, servants, tools. They chose submission over freedom. Jack's stomach turned. He shook his head. No, not all of us, not me. Serenia stepped closer, towering over him. Her voice lowered, heavy with accusation. Then prove it. Prove you are not like the rest. Stand with me. Or leave and be nothing more than another coward. Jack's chest tightened. His heart raced. He had wanted nothing more than to survive this nightmare, but now he was standing at a crossroads. He looked at her. At the immortal warrior with golden eyes, carrying the weight of vengeance and prophecy. She had saved him, trusted him, even healed him. But now, her demand was clear. Choose her war or walk away. Jack's voice cracked. And if I say no? Her blade flickered into full flame. The golden light reflected in her eyes as she whispered, "Then you will not live to regret it." The room fell silent. Jack's breath caught in his throat. He should have been terrified, but instead, a strange calm settled over him. He stepped closer, almost within the reach of her blade. His voice was low but steady. "I'm not going to run. I woke you, Serenia, and I'm not leaving you to fight alone." For the first time, her eyes softened. The blade of light dimmed, then vanished. She stared at him in silence, her lips parting slightly as if words had failed her. Jack gave a shaky smile. "Guess you're stuck with me." Before Serenia could answer, the outpost lights flickered violently. A hidden projector hummed, filling the room with a massive hologram. Jack froze. The image was of a towering figure clad in black armor, its face hidden behind a mask of steel and fire. Red eyes burned through the projection as a deep, cold voice filled the chamber. "So, the Guardian has awakened." Serenia's entire body stiffened. Rage flashed across her face, sharper than any blade. "You," the figure laughed darkly. "Did you think time could bury me, Serenia? I live and I rule." Jack felt his blood run cold. The betrayer. Still alive, the hologram leaned forward, its red eyes glowing brighter. "And soon I will crush both you and your little human pet." The projection shattered into static, leaving the room in silence. Serenia's fists shook, golden light bleeding through her fingers. Jack swallowed hard, his mind spinning. The choice had already been made, and now the enemy knew exactly who they were. The canyon shook with thunder that was not from the sky. War machines crawled across the cliffs, their red eyes glowing like fire. The hunters came in endless waves, and above them hovered the towering hologram of the betrayer, his voice echoing like a curse across the ruins. Jack's stomach twisted, but he stood firm. He had no armor, no glowing blade, no prophecy blood in his veins, only his will. And yet, Serenia stood beside him, her golden eyes fixed on the enemy, her blade humming like a sun in her hand. "This is it," Jack whispered. Serenia nodded. Slowly, the end or the beginning. The ground exploded as the first line of hunters charged. Serenia leapt forward, her blade slicing through steel and flesh alike. Her movements were fire, each strike painting the ruins in golden light. She was fury, vengeance, immortal wrath, but even she could not fight them all. Jack saw it. The betrayer's army was too large. If they stayed here, they would be buried. His mind raced. He spotted the cracked towers around the canyon, old alien structures still humming with unstable energy. "Serenia!" he shouted. "The towers! They'll collapse if I overload them." She turned her head for the briefest second, her golden eyes locking onto his. "You'll die." Jack clenched his fists. "Better me than both of us." Before she could stop him, he ran. Plasma blasts tore through the air, hunters screeched, rubble rained down, but Jack pushed forward. His lungs burned, his legs screamed, yet he climbed the tower. Sparks dancing under his hands down at the top, he found the core, an alien sphere pulsing with unstable power. He slammed a broken metal pipe into it. The machine screamed with energy. The whole canyon trembling. Below, Serenia cut through hunters desperately, her gaze snapping upward. "Jack!" He looked down at her, blood dripping from his arms, sweat burning his eyes. For a moment he almost smiled. "Guess humans really don't break." The core exploded. A blinding wave of light tore through the canyon. Towers collapsed, hunters screamed, Machines shattered into fire. The betrayer's hologram flickered violently before fading into static dot. When the smoke cleared, silence fell. Ruins were gone. The army was gone. Only Serenia stood, golden armor scorched, hair wild, her blade gone. She scanned the rubble, panic flickering in her eyes, an emotion she had not shown in centuries. "Jack!" She called, her voice breaking for the first time. From the shattered stone, a figure stumbled forward. Burned, bleeding, but alive. Jack coughed hard, leaning on a broken beam. Still here. Not dead yet. Serenia rushed to him, catching him before he collapsed. Her arms, strong and unyielding, held him close. For a long moment, she said nothing. Her golden eyes softened, and her hand lingered against his chest as if to make sure his heart still beat. "You were a fool," she whispered. Jack chuckled weakly. "Yeah, but I'm your fool now, aren't I?" Serenia froze. Then, slowly, she lowered her forehead against his, her voice trembling between rage and something deeper. "You are more than that. You are mine, awakener, warrior, chosen." The jungle wind swept through the ruins. The stars above shimmered brighter, as if the galaxy itself had witnessed their stand. Jack closed his eyes, his body aching but his spirit unbroken. He had no idea what came next. The betrayer still lived somewhere, watching, waiting. But he knew one thing: he wasn't facing it alone, because beside him stood an immortal warrior, woman who had waited thousands of years and chosen him. And together, their story was only beginning.